This is my first visit to St. Petersburg, and I have fallen in love with your city. So with that introduction, let me talk on a subject that is very dear to me, the topic of knowledge management. Now, I would like to get a sense of who is listening to the presentation today. Who are my customers? So in order to understand my customers, you, I'm going to do a very simple psychological test that was developed by a Harvard psychologist. And in a minute, I'm going to put on the screen 4 symbols. And what I'd like you to do is select one of the 4 symbols that best describe your way of thinking, your view of the world, your personality, your philosophy. Depending on which one you choose, I'm going to tell you what kind of a person you really are. Now, this Harvard psychologist claims that this psychological test is more accurate than the 4 blood type test. That's what he claims. So, if I understand who is listening, who are my customers today, I could very much target my presentation to that group. So that's the intent. Let me put the 4 symbols. So what you need to do is select one of these 4 symbols that best describes your way of thinking, your view of the world, your personality, your philosophy, okay? And I'm going to ask you to raise your hand for one of these symbols. Now, in the past, there have been some people in the room who do not raise their hands. According to the Harvard psychologist, those people have no personality. So you don't want to be in that category. Now, sometimes there are people who raise their hands twice. Those people are schizophrenic, have very serious psychological problems. So only one, please, okay? Let me find out. How many of you selected the square? Can you raise your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Thank you. It's all on this side. 5 out of 100 maybe? Okay, let's say 100, so 5%. According to the Harvard psychologist, people who select the square are usually very intelligent. Can I see those hands again? Okay. Only 5 intelligent people in this room, which means that I should go very light on the intellectual stuff. It's not going to go very well with this group. How about the Z? How many of you selected? Oh my God. Wow, there's 26 of you. I am impressed. Because in Japan, when we do this, this usually is 0. Nobody chooses this. But we have 26 in this audience, which is great. According to the Harvard psychologist, people who select the Z are usually very creative. You may not be intelligent, but, you know, you've got the creative qualities. So that's very good. Very good. So I can talk about creative things with you. That's great. How many of you selected the triangle? Oh my God, there's 37 hands that went up. This is the bird watching technique. Phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Well, let me just make sure, which means how many of you selected the circle? The circle? Oh, okay. Let me start with the circle. Who were they again? The circle people, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 20. Okay, there's about 13 of you. According to the Harvard psychologists, people who select the circle are usually gifted with innate leadership qualities and, in the future, destined to get to the top. So if you want to befriend anyone in this room, it's the circle people. Can you raise your hands again, the circle people? You're going to be the president, you're going to be the CEO. All right. Let me try to exchange my name card with you later. Okay. And again, the triangle people, the 37, 8 of you, the most numerous. According to the Harvard psychologists, people who select the triangle are definitely, not usually, definitely obsessed with alcohol and sex. Now, this psychological test tells me I should go very light on the intellectual stuff, but try to gear myself towards the alcohol and sex group. So not too serious. I think I will try to make this as light as possible. And that, I think, is the essence of strategy. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about the innovation economy. In fact, we attended a conference today and yesterday which was sponsored by IBM, and it was called Innovation That Matters. So there's quite a bit of interest on innovation. There's even a ranking of companies on innovation. So innovation is a very big topic in today's management world. And there are 2 ways of getting to innovation. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the 2 approaches. But you should know that there are basically 2 approaches to gaining competitive advantage through innovation. One is what I will call the outside-in approach. Have you heard of Michael Porter and his work on competitive strategy? That is basically an outside-in approach. What he tries to do is to analyze what's happening outside in the environment, what's happening in the industry, what's happening with competitors, and try to decide your strategic positioning based on an analysis of what's happening outside. So for outside-in people, it's very important to find out what globalization 3.0 is doing. That will have an impact because it's happening outside. What digitization is doing, what the flatness of the world is doing, those things are happening outside in the environment, right? That is going to have an impact on how you position yourself vis-a-vis your competitors. More immediately, it's very important to know whether you are in a very attractive industry or not.